Try to keep you busy for the next 15 minutes or so and have our guests here tell us more about what happens in Luxembourg. In my corporate life, I've been a trader, and what that means for the bank is I'm basically taking the bank's money and trade it on the international markets. Is that something you understood? Yeah. At least?
You're one of the bad guys.
Exactly, I was one of the speculators. Yeah, so what I was trading Romanian markets and international markets in asset classes like foreign exchange, bonds, money markets, everything you can, derivatives, everything you can imagine, right? So I was trading kind of, a lot of hundreds of millions in the bank's name. So I have a pretty good understanding of how money work and flows internationally. And
so you know what happens in Luxembourg?
Yeah, I know, yeah.
What happens in Luxembourg stays in Luxembourg.
I'm actually working with WC Luxembourg, so I kind of know what happens there. Now, the most important thing, and I'm going to start, I wanted to start with how can you forecast your revenue, but I'm not going to, throw you out of your chairs. I'm going to start, like taking this one by one. Well, before getting revenue, and you need to sustain yourself, right? When you build a company, and the worst thing that you do, you'll try to build a product to be, the best in the market, like to have all the features you can get. You need to have everybody on board with the product and all that. You don't have to think like that. So whenever you start a business, you're like a pimp, right? You know what a pimp is? You know that, right? So whenever you start a whorehouse, right? You start with one whore. That's it. And the features for the product are your horse. That's it. So when you start building the features, you have to think of, who are you catering to? Who are the first guys that will come in and buy your product for that specific feature? And I said feature, not features, right? Then this is for all your guys who are mostly, product guys rather than business guys. The second most important thing when you start a business, I'm going to be back to how you make money in the first place, is get yourself a co-founder who really understands, feels, and breathes. Breath is, I don't know how to put it in English, breaths. Business, like selling to either companies or consumers, right? And I want you to show, by show of hands, how many of you are B2C and how many of you are B2B? At least your ideas, right? B2B. So who's B2B? Hands up. So almost all of you are B2B, right? Who's B2C then?
I'm both.
Right. Yeah. So you're building a marketplace, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, in B2B, it's super important to have a co-founder who's good with sales and with business acumen. So he really needs to understand consultancy, clients that you might sell to, and he needs to be, or she needs to be good with pitching. Okay? So just keep that in mind. You can't do both. You can't build an awesome product and also do awesome business stuff, like selling to guys and all that. And when I started this, I had to go out of the bank, right? I had to say, okay, no to the bank, into the good money that I was making there, and throw myself into this entrepreneurial whatever area, right? What was the most important thing that I had to have to do that? Can you tell me?
To shut up and listen to your client.
No. That was before knowing what I'm gonna do and before clients and I actually had an idea of what I'm gonna do, what I'm gonna build, right? About the product, but
brain knowledge.
Financial security.
Financial security, exactly right. How did I achieve that?
Savings.
Savings, that's right. I kind of saved from the bank, right? I was paid some money for the thing that I was doing. Family. I was not doing shitty stuff, right? Huh? Family, guys, it's super important. My wife is rich. It's that simple.
That explains everything.
Right?
So why fast as many times as you want?
Exactly right. So what my wife told me, and she was actually the one driving me into entrepreneurship, and I'm not making a joke, she's rich. And she actually drove me into entrepreneurship. She told me you're becoming too overwhelmed with all the banking, bankruptcies and all the 2009 crisis and all this shit. You're becoming very, stressed and all that. I don't want you like that in my life. So let's switch you to the entrepreneurial mode. Maybe it's going to be better there. So what she actually,
Nice advice in 2009.
Actually, that was in 2011. To be honest with you, in 2009, I learned a lot from the financial crisis because I was working for a Greek bank, and you don't know what shit I was doing there to actually keep the bank afloat. But at least that's a good learning point. So I had financial security, right? I knew that anything can happen, but I still have somebody to pay for the bills, right? To get my mind off this super shitty stuff like, oh, I need to pay for the bills as well. I need to get side projects. Oh, I don't have any customers. How do I pay for the food? How do I pay for the transport and all that, right? So I need to have somebody to do that. Not only my savings, but also somebody who would bring that extension period from my savings, right? And the most important thing that you have to do as well is to, apart from not being poor, is to actually come up with how many months of security do I have with my own savings? How many months can I actually stay unemployed and with no side projects? And that's very important for you guys as a side mission. Now, I'm done with the first line, right? So how do you survive there? You won't get revenues in a year or year and a half. If you're building a product from scratch and you're not having clients like you did or like I did, then you're actually you'll strive for getting clients, paying clients. So that would be a tough one. That's why I always recommend to my friends, and that's from my own experience, try to build a year and a half of financial security or get side projects. So imagine spending like 16, 18 hours a day working also on the side project on your own business idea. Okay? Is that clear so far?
Yep.
Okay. Now, what I'm doing right now, I came out of the banking space and we build now banking simulators. And what this means is that everybody that goes into a big bank in the world, and name it like JP Morgan, Credit Suisse, UBS, and I think you guys know these names, right? I'm talking about Luxembourg, right? All these guys hiring people will eventually end up in our platform where we build different simulators, right? So I already gave you an idea of what we do. Like we have several products that we sell. We're going to talk about how we got to that and how we generated revenue on that, on those products, okay? But again, the most important thing was that what we needed to do in the first place and was to build only a product, only a good product with a good feature. That's it, one feature that really works well for the paying customers. What we've done in the beginning was to basically fall in love with the product. That's what we've done. Our product was the best in the market, right? But nobody would buy it. Like nobody. We would get, we'd call banks, we'd call training companies. Everybody would say the same thing. It is too hard to implement in our strategy, in our whatever trainings, right? Because it's a simulator. And then what did we have to do? No, we got feedback from from potential customers, and they were saying the product is too hard to understand, it's too hard to grasp on. So what was the first thing that we started doing?
Simplified.
Simplified, of course, because we had like 10, 15 features that nobody cared about. They cared only about one single feature, for the platform to be fast. That's it. Whatever that means in simulation terms, right? I mean, we don't have to get into, into all the details, right? So we knew we had to build that. We had to make the platform fast, and of course, to dumb it down. So that's why I'm telling you, we lost 1.5 years in building a huge product filled with all these nice features, and nobody would buy. And then it took us half a year to actually dump it down. You know what that means, right? Like we cut all the features that were not usable. We just went to a very simple single feature platform, and boom, that was it.
But basically your product didn't have just one feature. You were focusing on that one feature.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
You had many features besides this one, because you're just going to deliver a bank simulator which is just fast and that's not.
It's actually a trading simulator because I'm coming from the trading space, right? Okay. So that was it. I mean, the best feature that we had was the speed of the platform, right? That's what they wanted. So that's what we deliver for them. The others were just common features, right? So we didn't look for, well, when I say one feature, it's, take it with a pinch of salt, right? It's that one feature that will make the difference. But all the other features were, as we call them, common features, right? Not rare features. It's like common. Everybody has to have it. Like if you're building a platform where you connect farmers with farms, You kind of
Families, farms.
families with farms. You kind of have to have families on one end and farms on the other, right? So it's and then you need to find something, you know, that they connect to. Now, so from building the company to actually generating revenue, we had to use savings, and we also got investment, and that's super important because the most important thing one of the most important things in building a business is to always look for money. So even if you're sitting down here and just think of, you know, I'm going to build a very nice product in 6 months. That's right. It's good for you. You will start tomorrow to look for money. Wherever you want. And how do you do that? You will always sell, and that's what we've done. We sold. This is for other projects as well. We've sold things that we didn't have on the spot, right? So I know it's called, in business terms, fake it till you make it. You know the concept, right? Well, you do that, actually. So you go to customers and you talk to them about, you know, whatever platform you want to build. You tell them about, you know, this will do this and that, and think about the platform as already existing in your portfolio and try to sell that. That's why I told you in the beginning, you need a guy who's good at selling. I'm a product guy. I cannot lie about my own product. I can't just go to a guy and just sell a product that I don't have. But that's a problem that I have as a product guy. But a guy who's salesy and goes out there and tries to, you know, understands the business and tries to sell the product, he won't care about you having the product finished, you know, created or that. He will just go out there and try to sell it, right? So it's like getting paid for pilot projects, right? Okay. And this is very, very important for you, you know, in terms of getting to revenue. Now, how do you identify how much people are going to spend on your product? Because eventually, even if you know, let's call it a product, even if it's a service. Well, we actually, you know, Marius just told you. You actually ask them, like, how much would you pay for that? And a second thing, which is also important, is how much the market pays for a comparable product. Like we've built a banking simulator, right? We're not the first. I can tell you that. We build it to be better than others, right? And now, to just, you know, make some, you know, to be proud of the team, we're actually the global leaders in terms of trading simulators. So we're used by all the banks in the you know, in the bulge bracket, in the big bracket, right?
How is it called?
Triderian.
Oh.
Triderian.com is the website. It's a B2B business, so we only sell to training companies. We only sell to banks. We can sell to banks directly as well. We work with JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Citibank, Barclays. Just think of, you know, all the big banks, and they're in our portfolio. So I'm coming back to how do you get a price for your product, right? So we had the product. We just went over the part where people don't want the product. Now we have a training company, the first customer that wants the product. How much do we charge them? Our strategy was, what's the competition charging you? Because we know from you, I mean, these guys were open about it, that our product is better, right? So what you can offer, you can actually offer a cheaper product, the same value as the competition. I'm not saying that's the best way to enter a market, or you can offer at the same price a better product. Not better in terms of huge added value, but with the exact added feature that they wanted. And that's how we've done it, right? So this, just keep in mind, you might use it sometimes, right? So we just went in there and these guys were like, yo, our competition charges us whatever on a session.
But in those type of scenarios, how do you gain trust? Because you are new to the market, you don't have any references.
Right.
Besides, okay, telling the prospective customer that you're going to provide more features at the same price, how do you gain trust?
Because they say, look, I want to see the product. That's the next step. So yeah, I'm willing to pay you, but I need to see the product. Right? So then you say, okay, I will deliver the product in 1 month, 3 months, whatever. You have to know how much time it needs to deliver that beta product, right? We're still in the beta phase, to be honest with you. We don't have a fully fledged product right now. So we're still in, you know, beta, where we're adding stuff, we're, you know, solving stuff. That's it. I mean, it's a software, right? That we've had to build. So trust is then challenged when it comes to product, and then you put a product on the table which matches, whatever these guys wanted, and that's what we've done. But the problem that we had is that we spent 1.5 years again building a product that nobody wanted, and then half a year actually dumping the product down. You don't have to spend 2 years, because in a startup you actually live in dog years, and you already know that. So you don't have you don't have 2 years to just stay there, come every day in the office and try to build whatever cool features you want in your product. You have to go fast in the market and try to generate revenue from whatever clients. Like you already generate revenue, right? Probably it's not enough, right? Are you making money? Did you break even already?
Yeah, but we are still we can.
So you can't scale, or what? What's happening?
We can be on the break-even point, but we are still investing because we have till now investor in our company. So we want to grow faster. So we want to all what we receive as an investment, we invest to grow up faster. But if we have a turnover, and if we deduct all this workforce, then we are break-even point. But of course, if we want more, we just don't want to go step by step. We just want to go faster.
Okay.
Because, as you saw, there are many competitors on the market. But when we first with our first solution, Stomali, we are the only one, and we are on the top in Romania as a software. But BeautyLink, we have a lot of competitors. So even if we are going to All-Link, to a bigger solution, we still have a problem with this. To manage. Then we go to the, photographs, we have competitors there. We go to professionals, so.
Okay, so another sort of a vertical.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, what happens when you have your first customer? The problem is that you kind of feel relaxed. I'm going to take 5 more minutes, and that's it. When you get your first customer, you just sit down and you're happy with yourself, right? It's not good. When you get your first and only customer is just it's just gear 1 on the car, right? So you can't really drive a car in gear 1. You can't do that. So that's why you need the other guy who's selling and all that to sell more to other people, right? And I was telling you about how to price your product. The most efficient way is talk to your clients, and in order to validate your assumptions or whatever they say, they tell you look for comparables. Look for other companies that are actually selling the same product, or product that have the same features, right? And you can do that. You can actually find that in the market, especially if you have a market, if you have a niche that you don't have a lot of companies in that niche, like a lot of relevant companies, right? Try to talk to them. It's you'll see. I mean, when you talk to let's say competitors, like I'm talking to Adrian, right? Because Adrian is actually a competitor of mine. When you talk to them, be as open as you can about it. Yeah, right. Right, you're actually working in the same space, right? Either you're, enlarging the niche, or you're buying the guy out and you're out, or they buy you, and happy family, right? Everybody gets some money.
Foundry Institute, from idea to exit.
Exactly right. It's just a matter of 4 minutes,
And you have equity in his company already.
Whoa, yeah, that's something that I haven't thought of. Now, in terms of how to scale or how to get more revenue, how to sell more products, it's also the clients will actually give you all the insight you need. And in our case, for instance, we thought of how do we scale, how do we get more revenue in, and so we're building what? A business simulator, right? A simulator. What kind of products do I build to get more revenue from the same clients? Is that a good source of newer revenue?
The best.
It's the best, right? I mean, they're already locked in. They want my platform, so they already have a trust in me, right? That I can deliver that, the second or the third or whatever the fourth platform. So now we have clients that are wishing and pushing for new platform, new products, which means a newer revenue stream. On top of that, clients will also recommend you to other clients in that specific area. It works like that. It's very simple. Right, so keep that in mind. Once you land a client, then you have to push for other clients to join your forces, and they can do that for you. One thing that we've done was to ask for advice from everybody, right? Every important client, and we got money. I know it's something that you see written in books, but it's actually true. So when you ask for advice, you end up getting money. When you ask for money, 99.99% of the time, you're going to end up with advices because everybody, wants to be a consultant. Everybody wants to